Popular Twitch streamer Emiru has alleged psychological domestic abuse, stalking, harassment, sexual assault, and blackmail against her ex-boyfriend, also popular Twitch streamer Mizkif.
Today, I'm finally going to be opening up about the psychological and domestic abuse, stalking and harassment, sexual assault, and threats of blackmail that Mizkif has done towards me, and some of these issues which are still ongoing.
So this comes fresh off the heels of TwitchCon that just happened, where Emiru was sexually assaulted by a strange man at her meet and greet out of nowhere. The guy grabbed her and tried to kiss her, and Twitch claims that they were working with authorities to try to catch the guy and ban him, but apparently that was not even true because the authorities were trying to figure out who the guy was so they can press charges, and Twitch wouldn't give the name to police without a warrant. Emiru had a stream where she came out with a prepared statement where she made the allegations and she showed tons of receipts, and Mizkif also made a rebuttal stream where he mostly denies but also confirms several of the statements that she made. His counterpoints were she was also violent. She threw clothes and plushies at him. Yeah. The big one of his, that he claimed that she neglected animals that caused them to die, her rabbits. Also made a statement that she claimed that she wanted to marry him and have children within the next 5 years. He just wasn't ready for that. I usually don't talk about content creator drama really all that much, but like these have just kind of hit home with me more, like with Twitch just kind of being a complete failure at TwitchCon, and just kind of Twitch in general I've had problems with for years, to the point to where we used to stream for fun on Twitch, but I just don't like want really anything to do with the platform anymore. And the events at TwitchCon just kind of are like the nail in the coffin, and I think a lot of people see that. But then also with Emiru's claims against Mizkif, it's pulling back the curtain a little bit so that you can see a lot of the drama that content creators deal with between other content creators. Now, you have to remember one important thing. A lot of the times, not all the times, but a lot of the times, like, you're not dealing with normal, like, functioning humans. You're dealing with sociopath and narcissists who value numbers over people, like over people's feelings even. Like, what value do you have for them so they can extract a viewership from it, right? And they will use these fans against other people to like leverage to get their way. And the skeletons in the closet, like everyone's got skeletons in their closet, and it may be like a big nothing burger or a big something burger, but it's like they know a little something about you and threaten that they might use it against you to make you look bad. And then when you become like, if you got like groups like the OTK group, or even like dating another content creator, like your jobs and your lives, like everything becomes intertwined, and when it goes wrong, it can go bad wrong. Oof. I'm actually reminded of like a really old, like, Emiru probably has no idea who I am. I'm like, if anything, I'm just like some old dude on YouTube, right? But this is like a long time ago, like oh God, it may have been, like 7 years ago. I made a video where we were reading things on Reddit. It was me, Jessica Negri, Dyrus, and Russ Money. And when we were done, Dyrus had like typed in the chat that Emiru was a fan, like she was a fan of Jessica, and was like, oh, big fan. And I had replied, I was like, oh, man, she could come say hey. Blah, I can't even talk. And no one said anything. No one replied. And I was like, ooh, okay, well. And recently, I was going through and like deleting old chats that I had, and I saw it, and I was reading back through it, and like he never like mentioned Jessica, but it was obvious that's who he was talking about. But I was reading it, and it read like that. It could be read like that I thought she was a fan of me, and I was like, oh yeah, come say hey. And then no one, and I was like, oh, that's kind of. I'm gonna leave that. I don't want. That looks embarrassing. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I was just reminded of that, and now it's cool to see that she's become the massive content creator that she is. But anyway, you guys know I've talked about it quite often that I have always had issues with the politics behind closed doors when it comes to content creators, because oftentimes it is not anything what it seems to be. Like, people are close friends and all that. Like, I've actually always been the guy who wants to be friends over content, but I'm continuously disappointed on that. Even like when we lived in LA and we went through all that, and I removed myself, and I've just kind of like keep everything at arm's reach. But there's still quite a few people that I reach out to often, and I'll be like, hey man, how you doing? Make some small talk. And very few people actually ever reach back out to me. Sad day. Except for like one of the very few, Felix, like happens to be me and PewDiePie actually became great friends and talk to each other all the time. And it's a shame that it's so rare, right? But anyway, I only bring that up because going through our stream and watching it, it's obviously weighs a lot on these current, like, I would say like the current generation content creators' minds of like how their relationships, their network is affecting other people, the drama that's happening in their lives. As Emiru talks about herself, that she wanted to keep everything private that was going on and didn't want to really bring anything up. But at this point, it looks like she has to, just to protect herself. She mentions that Mizkif threatened her that if she ever speaks out, they could create like a smear campaign retaliation.
He approached one of my employees, threatening them and saying if I ever talked about him, he would destroy me. Multiple people have told me that his plan was to claim that I kill animals and that I killed my own rabbits, since I had several of my rabbits pass away over the course of 3 years while I lived with him.
There is no holding back. Who cares anymore? I will expose everything about every person that you've ever known. And it is time to go full demon time.
It leaves her in a place of her not want to talk about it to where it can be controlled. And then, like, you always got to call out bad behavior from people, because if you don't call out the bad behavior, it just enables more bad behavior. And just from watching this thing unfold, it seems like that's definitely some stuff that happened. Just so you guys know, all right, I made notes, okay? You guys know me. I always do tons of research and make notes, right? This time, boy, I got notes. So, during Emiru's stream, she talks about kind of like where it seemed like the ball kind of got rolling, and they were doing a Rust stream where drops were enabled. And if you don't know what drops are on Twitch, like if you're playing a game, you have your Twitch account connected to it, you watch a stream for a certain amount of time, you get in-game rewards. So your numbers get inflated like artificially. There's more people watching your stream, but really it's just kind of on, so they get the rewards. But she tells a story of that this happened and her viewership was higher than his. And then he begins messaging her that he's going to kill himself. Like he can't handle it. Like, oh my gosh, he ends his stream. He goes past her door where she's streaming and slams it so hard to make sure that her stream can hear it, and she knows that he's upset. And it breaks the door, right? Let's go back to what I said earlier about you're not dealing with like normal thought process of people. It's a whole different trust. It's a whole different thing, okay? You can't add like normal logic to this stuff. But just imagine like what kind of mental space you got to be in, and like how much value you have to have and how people view you just on like your numbers of viewers. Like if I was so worried about people getting more views than me, then I would have been long dead, you know? But and she goes on to tell more stories about how it didn't like really stop there. Like he would drive at 150 miles per hour, threatening to kill both of them. And she says one time, like this hung on me one time. So multiple times, I guess this happens, but one time it was over Mr. Beast inviting another streamer instead of him.
We were just getting food and he was on his phone and he saw that Mr. Beast had put out a video. And Mr. Beast had invited another streamer, and he was like, oh, Mr. Beast invited this guy to his video, not me. And I was like, oh, well, like, huh, yeah, I guess so. Which led to him going 150 miles per hour in the car and talking about killing himself while doing it.
Imagine, like really imagine, Mr. Beast did a video with a streamer that wasn't you. I don't know if he was in part like a part of a conversation to where he potentially could have been on it, or if it was literally just someone else showing up. If it's that, then that is wild. That's like me watching a Mr. Beast video and seeing like laser beam on it and being like, he didn't call me. They went and played hide and seek. They got Logan Paul and everyone on there. Where are they? Let me go drive 150 miles per hour and threaten not only my life, but everyone else on the road. That part like bugged me a lot. I just like, it's like, really bothered me. But yeah, from there, it continued to spiral, and it seemed like they were fighting quite a bit. To the like, and she ended up leaving. She like moving out. They were living together. She moved out, and he said to her that he wanted to come visit her, talk, and wanted some closure. Now, this is the part where the sexual assault allegation comes in. All right.
I let him hold me while I was crying. And he started kissing me in my face, and I let him do it. I was still sobbing a lot. And then, suddenly, he tried to climb on top of me and aggressively shoved his hand down my pants. And, I screamed. Yeah. And when I screamed, he jumped off me like a cat, like. And, instead of apologizing or checking if I was okay, he said, "I feel weird now. I feel like I did something wrong. I have to go." And he immediately left my house while I was still crying.
We cuddled for about 30 minutes and started to kiss. She said that she was okay with this on her stream, and I started to advance to the next stage because I thought that's what she wanted. She yelped, and I immediately sprung up and was scared if I did anything wrong, or did wrong in general. I got scared and left the house. I apologize if that made Emmy uncomfortable for me not saying sorry, and I wish I said sorry back then.
I don't know how their relationship usually went. I don't know like what their normal, like when everything was good went. I don't know. It's like kind of a big like read the room moment. You guys are upset, trying to have closure, and you try to make a move, and then I don't know if he's like, well, you know, she's letting me kiss her, so maybe we usually move through this pretty fast. I don't know that part, but it's just like, dude, it's crazy to me that you would even like, was it a strike trying to have makeup sex or something? I don't know. Like that was like the big moment. That was like, my gosh, like, okay. But I am grateful that he stopped, right? I'm grateful that he stopped, jumped up, and at least had enough awareness to realize how weird he was being and left. But goodness. And then she goes on to like start showing receipts about messages she's been getting. And so like, you know, upset about the Rust thing. A pretty big part of the breakdown of this relationship becomes obviously like jealousy and insecurity over her becoming more popular than him. They're playing World of Warcraft and he's messenger, like they're doing they're doing like Silver Pine Forest. If you've ever played World of Warcraft, it's just like one of those dungeons you grind and when you get so far, because it's just like kind of what you do. The barons get pretty barren if you're trying to find quests, and you just go farm it for a while, get some gear or whatever, get some levels. But they're playing the same class or something, and she's tanking, and he's like, oh my gosh, like the similarities between their streams are too much. She talks about how she was avoiding streaming on the same days when they were still living together to like not have an overlap of viewership, which does make sense because if you're sharing viewership and all that, yeah, sure. But like it continued to where like her success was bothering so much that he was making it out to like she was in the way of him doing well or something. Yeah. And she goes on to quote some more things, or she quotes that he claimed that he hates everyone around and they're all useless unless they can help his viewership. If they don't help his stream, everything's about him, right? And which, like I said, it also confirms that at the beginning of his stream where he's like going like scorched earth and it's like, I got all these receipts of everybody. I'm dragging this out. And even kind of alludes to like leaking them out over time, I guess, so that people will continue to come back and watch. Yeah. She goes to explain that she stopped talking to him in January of this year. And yeah, that's when you thought it was already bad. Yeah. That's when it kind of gets a little unhinged. You kind of got the obvious someone who likes to be in control, losing control. And he even talks about in his own stream of how he would like tell her, stop wearing pajamas and, tell her who to hang out with and only be with him. And it's kind of creating this very dependent like she needs him kind of thing, which from her explanation is a lot of how the relationship started, that she was kind of like her rock, right? And because I've seen comments like that of like, she's dating this guy, and it like shows a picture of him, and you're like, either way, she stops talking to him. The messages start flowing in. And she starts showing messages. She says she doesn't show all of them, but I'm pretty sure I had it on like 2 times speed and watched her pull out receipts for like a minute straight. And as they go, they start to resemble like AI a little more. Like you started like sending things through AI, but just looking through them, it's like, oh my gosh, you kind of get like the love bomb, like, oh, we can still work it out. Just talk to me kind of thing. And then if you give into it, then the cycle just starts back over again. So good on her for cutting off contact. She did the right thing there for sure, because like she talks about how people were telling her that he's hate watching her streams and like is like talking about her all the time. Fairly recently, she talks about how he went up to one of her employees and is threatening her, or giving threats to her. Like if she comes out and says it gets me, I'm gonna start a smear campaign. It's gonna be over. So she's filed a restraining order against him in Texas and California. His claims against her, like I told you, he had a rebuttal stream, were mostly him being like, nah, flipping it back and being like, well, she was also violent, like I talked about earlier. She threw clothes and she was throwing plushies, to where his being violent was he was throwing phones and punching holes in walls and screaming on the other side of the door. The biggest one was the animals, right? So he shows a clip that he says his brother recorded of a rabbit's cage, and it has mites in it. Reading the comments and stuff, I think a lot of people are confused about what we're actually looking at. Like they're just watching on their phone. They're like, well, there's rabbit poop. Rabbits just poop everywhere. Like rabbits are like 90% poop. They just poop. And they're also extremely fragile and die quite easily. And this one I'll take this one from 3 angles, right? I'll take this one from Emiru's side, first of all. I'll take it from her side first. That she loved her animals. She brought her animals with her to the house whenever she moved from Kansas. She had quite a few of them. And she's very upset that people would use, or he would use her poor animals dying against her. The video footage that he shows, there's no rabbit or there's no like connection other than he says that there is to even it being anything to do with her. And then we can go from his side.
But as those rabbits moved out of her room and into the living room, they started to see disgusting neglect. No food, no water, sometimes not having clean bedding for weeks. I, along with many others who would come over, would give them what they needed, and I would tell her all the time to take care of them, but to no avail. She completely neglected those rabbits, so much that many of them just died over 1 year of being around in my house. My cleaning ladies would clean them just because they felt terrible.
But even with that, you kind of go, well, if the rabbits died in your house and your cleaning ladies were taking care of, like, they still died. So did you actually really do anything to try to save them? I think that probably the truth lies somewhere in between, more than likely, because whenever you bring up pets into this scenario, it gets weird fast, and people like get very surface level and very quick to judge. I'll give you a story. If you guys remember, we had ball pythons. We had a lot because Mary loved the snakes, and she actually wanted to like become a breeder and like breed snakes and have all these different kind of morphs and do like the cool looking into the eggs thing to kind of like see what they're going to be and all that. But so have you ever heard of a virus called like serpentino virus or nidovirus? It goes by both names. It's basically COVID for reptiles, and ball pythons are specifically extremely like they die, right? The survival rate is like almost non-existent for ball pythons. So Mary had ordered a cool looking little silver snake. It came in. We didn't really have any worries. Like it was a reputable breeder. Put it away, and we noticed later on that it was blowing little air bubbles, which is an upper respiratory infection in snakes. So when we had gotten this snake, of course, we handled it. And then, when you're like handling your snakes and putting it where it's enclosure where it's going to be, usually you end up messing with your other snakes. You're like, well, now that I'm out here cleaning them up or whatever, I'll do you and you and you and you. So we unknowingly spread this virus to a majority of our snakes. Some that we didn't even touch, like Greta, the Walmart python. She was aggressive and would bite you, so we didn't just go and grab her out. She even got sick. So it was even just airborne. They all got sick. We took them to the vet, and the vet was like, yeah, there's no cure for this. The survival rate is low, extremely low. I can give you children's antibiotics to give them to maybe help. And the children's antibiotics doesn't do anything for the virus. It literally just treats pneumonia or anything else that may happen because their immune system's already low. So we're taking all these snakes out and opening their mouths, and we have syringes and we're going through it. We do this for 6 months, and snakes are slowly dying, and it's horrible. It's terrible. And there's nothing that we can do about it. And it doesn't matter how many times I say, hey, yeah, we had the snakes and they got really sick and there was nothing we could do and they died. People are always like, you abused your animals and you let them die. It's always like that. I don't know their situation, exactly what's going on, because she doesn't really say much about it, and his is also pretty vague too. But I imagine the truth is somewhere in the middle, with which the truth is probably somewhere in the middle for a lot of this. Like I said, he claims that she's all whenever you're having a relationship breaking down, you guys know this probably as well as I do, is there's fights. It happens. It gets rough and you guys got to get away from each other. And so I'm sure they both got plenty of stories, but his is not looking as solid as hers at all, because there's also other stories. There's the cover up of a sexual assault for a friend in 2022 that came up, but then kind of went away. But, Adriana Lee, who I believe is part of that, she has chimed in on this and said, she quotes this, it's almost like this is what I'm suing him for, creating a smear campaign. I'm winning my lawsuit right now. You know how many times a man like that will get away with doing crap like that? So, yeah, it's just kind of more and more people are starting to come out and be like, yeah, actually, he is a pretty bad dude. And I hope he does come out with all these receipts that he claims that he has against other content creators, because that means that they are going to have no reason to hold back anymore, and they're going to come out with their receipts. It's just going to become this whole thing. And yeah, I'm here for it. Unfortunately. Man. But anyway, I just want to talk about this some and kind of just talk about what I observed and seen through all this. And I hate that she has to go through this. Unless there's just some groundbreaking revelation that it's obviously she's the victim in this. We'll wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoy that. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know if I messed anything up and you guys need to educate me on some stuff. I'll be reading. If today's your birthday, happy birthday. So, my friends, I love you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.